Oh, I should have put some tunes on. No. Really?
I'm done.
Huh?
I'm done.
We'll give it one more minute. Grab your water, grab your snacks, do what you need to do. Okay.
Okay, hold on one second.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
I just see it. It says Kevin Stucker. I shared his number. Are you on an iPhone?
Yes.
So it works.
Are you good?
Hey, Simon.
Hey, what's up? Good to see you.
I came in early to move my stuff in my cubby and now I'm back to house.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. You got a
Thank you.
phenomenal instructor. She's awesome. So enjoy.
She's all right. She's all right.
Cool. All right.
Thanks, Simon. Well, good morning. Happy Monday. I hope everyone had a great weekend. I love this subject. This segment is by far one of my favorite as an agent, also as a leader. So I'm hoping that you'll take away at least one thing out of today's session with me. I know that we have a jam-packed content, so let's not waste any of our time because I know our time is very valuable. So let's kick off. All right, so lead generation is, well, our class today is generate your leads, and ironically, we talk about this all the time, and if we don't have any leads, then we don't have any businesses at all. So this is interactive, as this is now your 5th class with all of us, and as you know, you will get what you put in. So interact with me. Let's mastermind around this with this session, and let's just have a good time, because I do believe that just because we have to work hard, obviously, but we also can play harder too. So we'll make it fun, we'll make it exciting, and we'll get through it together. Okay. Any questions so far that we want to address before we kick off? Zoom world, again, don't be shy. Please let me know. You guys know me. I'm very open. I take all comments, criticism, the whole 9 yards. All right, let's kick off. So, generate your leads is where we're at. So today's agenda. I'm not too familiar, or I'm not sure how the other instructors do it. If I go too fast, please let me know. I am a high D and a high I. I am all about getting it done and getting you guys out, okay? But if you need me to slow it down, please don't be afraid and say, okay, lady, pump your brakes. All right, so you, the lead generator, the lead generation model, your sphere of influence, which is also your SOI, expanding your SOI, lead generation best practices. We recap with our ahas, and of course our success system. You know what? Let me see if I can. Because I cannot. Let me go ahead and just do this. Okay. Let's kick off. So my fear of failure was greater than my fear of lead generating by Gary Keller. Can someone please tell me what this means to them? My fear of failure was greater than my fear of lead generating. What does that mean to you as an agent, as a business owner, as a CEO of your business?
From the Zoom world, reading that seems that he was more bent on being scared of failure than he was of the actual task at hand. Totally out of proportion.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you, Shreya. Nailed it right on the head. Absolutely. So, it's it's very interesting when I hear agents, they're like, oh, I'm so afraid to cold call. I'm afraid to door knock. It's like, well, we're kind of in the business of doing all of that. So what is going to happen to your business if you're afraid of it? So we need to break through, we need to break that barrier down and not have any fear, because that, your confidence, your aura, in addition to your passion of wanting to help others and your passion of real estate, is how you maintain your business and grow your business, okay? All right, so the 6 core competencies of a business. 1, you lead generate, you capture them, and you convert to appointments. Number 2, you present to your buyers and sellers and get an agreement done. Number 3, you show buyers and market sellers. Number 4, you write and negotiate contracts. Number 5, coordinate the sale of a closing. And number 6 is manage the money. This is very important. And yes, there are times where our 6 core doesn't go in that order. Sometimes it's all over the place. And again, as I'm only speaking as personal experiences, because I can't speak on behalf of you. Okay, but don't worry, we'll get there. Okay, lead generation fears and myths. So I think lead generation is really difficult. Who thinks that? Show of hands. Right, yeah, exactly. I don't have time to lead generate. How about that one? Who has used that one before? I don't have time to lead generate. Right? Because I am guilty too. I don't know what to say. That's another good one. And I'm afraid of making mistakes. I want to touch on this a little bit on the I'm afraid of making mistakes. Mistakes will happen, and that's the honest reality. We are human. There is human error. But what we do with the error and what our solution is going to dictate who we are as an individual. And learning what mistakes that was, fixing it, and then providing a solution on the back end also make us a great agent and a great business owner. Sometimes we have to make some mistakes in order for us to learn some lessons, and then making sure that we don't do it again. And also looking at the process and converting it to a more efficient process as well. Okay. So here's some where it breaks it down on lead generation. Okay, I was confusing effort with enjoyment. Lead generation is actually easy. It's not just fun. Oh, it's just not fun. Okay. Number 2, I had an issue of making time to lead generate and protecting that time. Number 3, I have to get on the path of mastering the dialogue skills needed in this business. That's the scripts and role play. Everyone should be taking advantage of that. Number 4, I found that lead generation is nothing more than a set of tasks and skills that are well documented. True, but I don't agree with that wholeheartedly. And the reason being is because it's not just a set of tasks, it's what we do every single day. Okay. All right. So SOI Income Opportunity. SOI stands for Sphere of Influence. I know we hear a lot of that because we love our acronyms here at Keller Williams. So get familiar with the Kellerism is what we always say. And if you have any questions, if you're like, okay, can you explain what this is? Let me know. So opportunities. No, well, I guess they're going by alphabetical order today. So A, number of contacts in your phone should be 250. Potential closing opportunities from your contacts is 250 times 0.081 should be your number, which is 20. Potential referrals in your database, 250 times 0.10, 25. Total potential, you would do your 20 plus 25, which is 45. Your average commission is 5,000 and income opportunity is 225,000. Just remember the average commission is going to be different because we aren't in a higher market volume, okay? So our commission's higher, our sale price are significantly a lot higher. So this right here doesn't really apply to us because that's not our average commission. Does anyone know what our average commission is?
Yes.
Yell it out, can't hear you. Oh, honey, you're gonna have to really yell it out.
Between 10 and 12,000.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Yep, between 10 and 12. That is correct. 10 and 12 is our average here in the South Bay. Okay. And that's not, we're not counting the Rolling Hills, the PV estates, and then the luxury market. Just us in the South Bay alone, Torrance, San Pedro, Lomita, Harbor City, we're an average of 10 to 12. I mean, $10,000 to $12,000 is a lot of money. Okay. Let's see. Okay, your database. Let's talk about your database. Where are you? Just throw out some numbers. How many contacts do you currently have in your cell phone right now, as of today? Does anyone have more than 500 people in your contacts? Okay, Shireen. What about our South Bay office? I see a lot of bodies in there. Do you guys have more than 500 in your contacts?
How do I do it? Like, how do I count it? I know there's a lot, but.
Yeah, so usually if you go all the way up, it should show
Oh.
you your contacts. Yep, if you have an iPhone.
Yeah,
Android-
yeah, I do.
Okay. Yeah, so the reason why I was asking is because all of those contacts, you have to subtract about 25% because those are other agents in your contacts, right? It's agents that you work with, it's your leadership team, it's your agents that's within your office. We don't count those because that, yes, they can be our referring partners, but they're also, can we really get business out of them? So we just want to focus on our SOI, our HabNets, our point of contacts, you know, to drum up our businesses. Okay.
Still couldn't find it.
Okay. So aside from your phone, what else? What other resources that you can use as your database?
The neighborhood.
Okay, neighborhood. What else? Remember, it's interactive.
All these play groups, you know, with the moms and your church, your gym. I mean, anywhere that you go, you can make it yours. You know, if you're like brand new to the neighborhood, then you just create your neighborhood, create it.
No, absolutely. How about this one? Here's the big one. If you're talking about, I want to touch as many people as possible at once. How about social media? I mean, social media is one of the free platforms that we do not have to spend money on if we don't want to, and touch so many people all at once, one time. You send a post. If you post right now and said, I am in an Ignite class, clients, I am making sure I am getting the education that I need to better serve you at a high level, I guarantee you will have anywhere between 100 to 120 likes and some comments as well, right? So social media is another one that don't discount it because it is a very, very powerful tool. And we always talk about, especially as brand new agents, we're like, oh my God, I need to go buy leads. I need to spend money. I need to, you know, it's constant a money pit. Like I have to spend money to make money. That line, yes, is true, but it technically isn't as well. So it's a 50-50 because we don't need money to spend money when it comes to lead generation. I would say lead generation is by far one of the low cost process for your business. We have to do the initial investment, getting our license, paying for our board, you know, getting a few things that need to get us up and running. And then this aspect of it should hardly cost you any money. If you do it right, it won't cost you any money, but it will make you a lot of money. Okay. So how have we, like, as far as lead generating in our class up to now, I know we're now about 10-15 minutes in. What is some of your thoughts about what we have discussed so far? What is some of the things that you're like, oh my God, like I didn't realize this, right? One that is important is that you don't need to spend a lot of money just to lead generate. It's one of the free or low cost resource that you can absolutely utilize. And if you do it at a high level and do it correctly, I promise you, you won't have to cold call, or sometimes you won't have to door knock unless you have an open house. And we'll touch base on that later on as well. Okay. ahas. I know we kind of skipped the gun there a little bit, but I want to hear from you. What have you, has anything popped up and you said, yeah, you know what, I think I'm gonna start implementing that? Or anything that was like, I didn't even think about it, now I am gonna think about it. Don't be shy. I promise.
Sorry, I'm having such a bad connection. That's why I got the camera off. It helps with the yeah, it helps with the warbling. But I think an aha is just one of those under our nose things, which is this is a lot easier than we sometimes make it. You know, this is a very easy thing to overthink, our lead generation activity, and we don't have to do it. If we just really put it in perspective, it's not as daunting. And it gets easier with every single call because you learn from the last call, you apply it for the next one, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, I've got it wired now. You know, the only way to do it is to practice it.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. So here's another one. Just the past 15 minutes, has your mindset shifted to overcome the fears about lead generation process? We're still early, I understand that, but have that fear that you kind of have or have that mindset shifted at all? Or you're kind of like, you know what, I still need to deep dive further?
Yeah, I'm not as, hi, this is John. Yeah, I'm not as fearful of that process at all, anymore now, especially now. But, I've learned a few things. I mean, there was already been a few leads I've had that I was working on, not getting them committed yet, but working on giving them information on properties. And then I get a call from them saying, oh, you don't have to send me any more stuff. We got another agent, we sold it. But, that's going to happen in the process.
Right.
But, that kind of broke me in on a few things. But yeah, I feel fairly comfortable with it now.
Good. Thank you, John. Welcome. And no worries. We'll work through all the obstacles and the hurdles together as always, right? All right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
This is Michael. I've had a sale from Sphere. I've had some referrals for buyers, but as far as the lead generation, should we stick to one niche first, or should we be trying to do door knocking, cold calling, all of that? Or should we just stick to one and see how we perform with that one?
So as a rule of thumb, we always say focus on the one thing, right? And that's kind of how we've always been groomed and nurtured to do. Focus on the one thing, master it, and move on to the next. Now with the real estate business, I would say that that's a little bit harder. And the reason being is because if you focus, let's just say door knocking, well, you're going to be door knocking 5 to 1,000 homes a week. Now that's a lot on someone alone, right? Like that's a lot on your body. The physical health, and to me, mental health is very important as well. So my recommendation, and this is just my personal opinion, is that if I were you, I would break it up. We have 7 days a week, and every single day, whatever you committed to your business, is that you're like, you know what, on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I'm going to door knock, and I'm going to door knock from say 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. That's it, 2 hours a day for those 3 days. Now your other off days, you're like, I'm going to cold call. And then you break that up as well and go, I'm going to cold call from 3 to 5 or 4 to 6, whatever that is. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you want to hit all aspects of your sphere and your database. So you don't want to you want to focus on that day, you want to focus on that one thing. But the next day, you can focus on your next one thing, right? And once you get into a habit, you start noticing yourself just naturally knowing what to do. And I think that that's going to also help your lead generation process easier. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. But at the same time, should we be tracking our KPIs to see what's effective?
Oh, if you have no tracking system, if you're not KPIing yourself, or if you don't have any measurements at all, then I think that that should be your first step, is making sure that you have to track your like I said, your KPI, your movements, because you want to know what's working and what's not. What if you've been doing, what if you're doing off for, say, a solid month and you've been consistent every single week, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, 2 hours a day, and nothing comes of it? Then you're going to realize, okay, well, maybe my script is wrong, maybe my body language was wrong, or maybe maybe this is not the right neighborhood for me, right? So you have to step back and look at it. Same thing with cold calling. If you've been doing it consistently and nothing has come to fruition, then you want to know why. Okay, in order for us to fix what's broken, we need to understand the why. So
Thank you.
absolutely. Sorry, say that again.
I said, thank you, that helps.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You do need to track. I mean, why, if you don't, just like, look at it this way. Everyone balanced their checkbooks, right? Or balanced their bank account. If you don't constantly keep a pulse on it, how do you know that you're gonna overspend, or God forbid, you have an overdraft and then you get charged fees and penalties and fines, right? So your business should be operated the same way, making sure that you keep a pulse on it to make sure that you're getting your return, making sure that all that effort that you're putting out there, you're getting it back in return, okay? All right, so the path to self-mastery takes time. Learning new habits and skills takes time. So take the time to acknowledge the journey you are on and celebrate the small wins. Just like the KPI is a good way to celebrate the small wins. I always say, agents always wait until they close that big deal. Or they're like, oh my God, this is, the big commission, or whatever the case is. Why don't we celebrate the small wins when you hit your target? Go, you know what? I committed next week that I'm gonna make 100 calls for the entire week. And once you did that, celebrate that. Take yourself out, have a nice lunch or a dinner, or heck, enjoy a glass of wine, right? Celebrate the small wins, because those small wins will help keep you motivated, but also help boost your confidence as well. And the other thing is, don't be secretive about it. If I were you, I would literally blast it on my social media, and I would be like, yep, committed to doing such and such, and I am so proud that not only I did it, I exceeded my expectation, and have everyone celebrate with you. Don't be shy. Involve all of us. We want to celebrate you, and we want to celebrate it all together. Okay, every little step, every tiny stepping stone that you cross is something that we should celebrate. And especially in our industry, a lot of us do fall to the wayside, and I say that wholeheartedly because I am in the industry. I am also still an agent, and sometimes I'm like, yeah, you know what, everybody's busy. They're not going to want to hear what I did or didn't do, right? But that's not true. Our offices, both South Bay, LA Harbor, and Coastal, we want to celebrate you. So we want to be a part of all your successes, and we want to be there when you go through obstacles, so we can help support you and cross that together as well. So don't ever forget, we're always here for you. Awesome. Well, thank you for that. All right. So lead generation model, we're breezing through this baby, so that's good. All right. So refer to the lead generation model and the database model. And so lead generate. So here's our capsule. Has anyone ever seen this before, this model? Okay, sounds good. All right. So KW, we're all about models, systems, and tools, and hence why you join our organization. There's a reason why you are currently here with us. It's because you truly believe that our organization can help propel you and your business forward. And that's exactly why we do what we do. So the one thing that we do take pride in, as well as the education standpoint, we do love our models, we love our systems, and we love our tools, but we also believe in making sure that you fully understand it as well. So let's go ahead and deep dive. So lead generation, top tier, relationship management, client and referral loop, okay? Lead capture goes right in. Here's your database, your leads, you form into relationships, contacts, you strengthen your relationships, and then you cultivate your contacts and convert it. New, repeat, referrals. So it is a cycle. If you really look at it, the more relationships you have, the more businesses that you will be getting. And that is a fact. It is a proven fact. The more relationship you have, the more businesses you will take. Do you feel currently that you need to do a better job in cultivating your clients? Do you think that you can do more in making sure that they feel comfortable with you, that you will be their go-to agent when they do need need anything real estate related? Okay. That was a question, but okay. All right. So prospecting and marketing are lead generation activities that deliver leads into your business. What does prospecting and marketing mean to you? I know what it means to me, but what does it mean to you?
It means just trying to generate a foundation, not only getting people to know who you are and what you do, but a foundation that's also going to grow your lead generation. So it's just getting your name out there, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. And John, thank you for speaking up. So what are you personally doing to get your name out there right now?
Well, I've started by with flyers. I've been handing out flyers, mailing flyers, and business cards, get my business cards out to people. Also at people I know at work. I have a job that I work at night also. I've had a couple leads, like I mentioned before, and they were said, oh, okay, help me look for things. And I've, without consummating a contract, but just, starting out by getting their interest because they were looking for stuff. And those kind of fell to the side as maybe their wife or their cousin knew another agent and they went with him. But that was part of getting my name out there. So that's pretty much what I've been doing now. I'm not full-time right now as an agent as of yet, because I have another job, but in the time that I have free, what I've been trying to do are those things: flyers, business cards, and just word of mouth with people I work with and family.
Right. No, absolutely. And that's great. Again, and the only reason why I ask that is that because it doesn't matter your method. It doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you do it. So John is a great example. He has another career. So he's one of our dual career agents, and he has currently 2 careers going. So he has his personal career and then he has his real estate career. And if he can do it, then why can't we that is in the business full time, doing it? So I wanted to kind of capture on stop thinking, just go out and do it, right? Don't get ready. I hear a lot, I'm just getting ready. I'm getting ready. I'm like, what? Don't get ready. Just go and do it, because you doing it is helping you get ready. It's teaching you the real life experiences. Okay. Anyone else that's currently prospecting and marketing, and what is some of your methods? Okay, we'll move right on. All right. Prospecting versus marketing. So don't confuse the two. Okay, marketing is money intensive. So of course, when you have to market, there is investment that you have to pay. If you're printing out flyers, that costs you money. If you're posting it on, or if you're on a Facebook business page, you have to pay to boost that post up. It's passive, right? And long-term results. Because if you're doing mailers, you're doing golden letters, that's all consistency. So you're making sure that you're in front of a client every single time. Okay. Prospecting, so instead of money, it's time intensive. When you're prospecting, when you're out there, you're doing cold calling, you're door knocking. That's a lot of time committed. And if you really look at it, your lead generation time block should probably be about 50 to 60% of your time. If you're not a rainmaker yet, then your calendar should be anywhere between 60 to 65%. Okay. Proactive. So it's like marketing, once you set it, it's passive. You let it go and it does its own thing. But prospecting, it's not. You have to be proactive. You're constantly having to touch it. You're constantly having to be in front of it. And then you get immediate results. Because when you're prospecting, you're getting your client that's a contact, and then they go into your database immediately. Okay. When you're marketing, it's like, okay, if you're lucky, they're going to call you because they received that postcard, or, oh yeah, I received that magnet notepad. Thank you so much. But that's not instant. And quite frankly, I mailed out those notepads before, and I'll be upfront. I don't think I've ever got a client out of it, but it's just my way of staying in front of them. And it's my warm calls. When I do call them, they're like, oh yeah, no, I do remember your notepad, but they don't really know me. But it does help when I cold call them. So that's another way to do it too. All right, relationships management. So a database is a container that holds the information of your leads and contacts. A smart database or data bank allows you to have planned and meaningful communication with your database. So this is pretty straightforward. This is too, but what does it mean to you? Allows you to plan, or allows you to have planned and meaningful communication with your database. What does that mean to you? So if you're not planning your communication, if your communication is not meaningful, or it's not on purpose or with purpose, do you think that you can generate business out of that? If it's just a, hey, how are you? Oh my God, I haven't seen you forever. How's everything? And then you let it go. Instead of, hey, how are you? How are the family? What have you been up to? What are you doing nowadays? So that's the one thing that I noticed that a lot of agents kind of forget, is that if you don't ask them what they're doing, your contacts are not going to ask you. They're not going to say, well, yeah, I just got a new job. I'm now part of the sheriff department. What about you? But if you don't ask them about their current career and what they're currently doing in their professional life, they won't ask you about your professional life, because you didn't open that door to have that conversation. So remember, purposeful conversation is very, very important. Okay. Any agents out there right now that's currently contacting their SOI and having meaningful conversations? And I hope that you guys are, because this is your 5th session. Even my brand new agents, if you're not contacting if you haven't lead generated, then we really need to discuss this. In room, on Zoom, don't be shy. Anyone has an example of a conversation recently or not recent that they just had with the client, and how did it go? Oh my God, you guys aren't having any conversations?
Well, I had, the most recent one was the rental that I was able to get a place leased out, and I had conversations with the tenants that were interested, and showed them the apartment, had them meet the landlords, discuss their needs, issues like that. Other than that, they've just been the prospecting, speaking to people that I mentioned before that I was finding information on the specific type of house they wanted, but then they end up going with another agent.
Right.
But yeah, those are the most recent ones I've had.
Okay, no, fair enough. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Buyers, a lot of the buyers are saying that they can't qualify, or they don't have down payment, or credit is not the best. The sellers are just saying that they're not interested right now.
Okay, and Michael, when a client say, you know what, my credit is not good, I think I'm gonna hold, I'm gonna try to fix my credit, I'm working with some people, what is your response to that?
I actually have a lender who helps those individuals get on the right track with their credit. Like my last buyer that I had, he had some issues with child support, credit, down payment. The lender was able to get him hooked up with the down payment assistance program, got his child support squared away, and even boosted his credit score. And he was able to actually buy the house way out in, where did he go? Past Victorville.
Okay.
It was way out, but I tell him I have a solution for it.
I love that. And that's exactly what I wanted to hear, right? So we're not tax credit repair experts. We're not lenders. We're not appraisers. We're not inspectors, but we do have resources to help our clients. And again, back to planning that conversation and the meaningful communication is that it's okay. I'm here to help you and I'm here to support you. Here's some of the things that I can help you with, and here's some of the resources that I think can help you as well without implicating myself, so to speak, right? Again, we're not lawyers. We don't commit to anything at all because we don't know. But great, thank you. That was amazing. Appreciate that. All right, so relationship management. Leads, people who you have earned the right to at least have a one-way conversation with, or contacts, people you've held a two-way conversation with, and whom you've established a value-based relationship. So leads is a one-way conversation. That's the honest truth. A lead is when we see something come through our that falls on us. They're like, hey, I need to buy a property. Okay, and oh, you met at an open house. Not a problem. Sounds good. Do you have an agent? And then, you know, you do the right thing. You reach out to them and go, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, thank you so much for stopping by my open house. You know, I just wanted to follow up with you. And then crickets. Okay, that's a lead. A contact, on the other hand, is, hi, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. You know, thank you so much for coming to my open house. You know, can we please meet and you know, have coffee on what you're looking for? And then Mr. and Mrs. Smith actually responds. The moment I get a response or even an acknowledgement at the open house that it is okay to contact them, to me, that's go time. I'm gonna stick on you until I get what I'm like. I'm gonna stay on you until you get what you need, but also what I want, right? And that's helping you find a property or possibly selling a property. Remember, we never know who walks through our doors every single day. Okay, relationships must be attended to, cared for, and cultivated. Do you believe that this statement is true? That a relationship must be attended for, cared for, and cultivated? If you don't think it's true, I would be very scared. Relationship should be just like our relationship with our significant others, our spouse, our kids, our family, our parents. Don't we cultivate that relationship? The relationship I have with all of you. You know, when I I got to meet Shireen this past Saturday, and she was amazing. And she was so warm, and you know, and I felt that we cultivated that relationship. And a lot of you that's on this call that I got to meet as well. You know, in person, via Zoom. I always value our relationship and what we do together and being in business. To me, you guys are more than just agents. To me personally, and I can speak on behalf of the leadership team. You're not just a body in our office, you are family, and you know this, hence why you're here. So just like our clients, they don't want to just be a number, right? They don't want to just be another body. They want to be a part of you, and they want to be a part of who you are as a whole. I have a client once told me, they're like, Mary, you treat me better than my own family did. And that literally was almost an epiphany for me. I never thought about it that way. Those of you that know me, this is who I am. What you see is what you get. But I truly believe that when you're with me, I want to make sure that you feel that you are a part of my family. And when I love very hard as well. So make sure that every single client that you are having a conversation with and that you're touching, they feel the same way. You want clients to say, oh my God, you treat me better than my own family. I pray that it's not real, or that's not true, but there are certain type of people that do need the extra love and care, right? Okay, types of communications. Now we're really talking. So phone calls, emails, text messages, face-to-face, KW app, and handwritten communication. What are you all currently doing right now as far as communications? I know I see emails sometimes, I see text messages. I know a lot of communication is really, email and text messages is probably the top two that I've seen thus far. Is anyone else doing anything differently that is on this list or even outside of this list?
I just I just set up a Facebook when I joined Keller Williams. So I post articles there, just
Yeah,
strictly real estate related articles on interest rates and mortgages and how everything's affecting their. So that's basically what I do on that, in addition to the flyers and handing out things at work. But yeah, that's basically what I've been doing right now as far as communicating. I haven't done much phone calling, but I've been doing the articles through Facebook and my contacts there.
I love that. Thank you. Okay. Anyone else?
Hi, it's Dawn. I'm so sorry. I'm
Hi, Dawn.
listening. Hello, how are you? I'm listening, but not really being fully interactive because of course I'm in my farm area right now. So part of what I do is also email. I try to keep up quite a bit on my social media. Phone calls, I need to work better on that because there's quite a few in my database that I haven't really touched with a phone call. So I know that's definitely an area where I need to improve on. But they do get emails from me at least 2 times a month. And in my farm area, what I do, there's a couple farms that I have. One that I mail to. I'm not in that one specifically walking it because it's more gated.
Okay.
But my other farm, what I do is pretty much walk the neighborhood, give out my newsletter, give a little information of what's going on in the market. And pretty much that's what I do as far as trying to touch bases with my clientele or database.
Love that. Thank you. No, and that's huge. And congrats, you're door knocking right now. And be safe out there and stay hydrated. It is hot today. Well, it's been hot every day. So thank you for that. Good. Well, phone calls, you know, the art of actually picking up the phone is almost gone. And I know I say that wholeheartely because when we have issues, what do? We try to avoid the awkward conversation. So we send them an email or a text message. I would love for us to go back. You know, this is one thing that I would love for all of us to kind of go back and quote and unquote be a little bit more old school. When there's an issue, please pick up the phone and call. If it's a major issue, then I would say, hey client, can we please meet face to face so we can discuss what's currently happening and the solution that I think may help us out, right? But phone calls are so important because when they hear our tone and the way we deliver it, it's so different than an email and a text message. And some of us, I don't know about if you're using the voice detonation, it's sometimes the exclamation marks goes on the wrong part, the periods are in a whole wrong section. So, you know, it's really miscommunication, and clients can take that very, very wrong. When they're like, why are you yelling at me? You're like, no, I didn't mean to yell at you, right? So pick up the phone and call. Email is good if you're using it correctly as well. Smart plans, KW Command have some great smart plans. Make sure you utilize that. Text messages, like I said, it's really good if you know the conversation is not dire. Face to face, I think that's the urgent thing. If there's a major issue, you're like, I need to meet with you because we need to find a solution. Okay, our KW app, and then handwritten communication. Those are the golden letters and flyers. Golden letters still help, especially when it comes to lead generation. And my other recommendation, if you're doing golden letters and handwritten communication, don't do labels. I know that sounds, you're like, oh no, you mean I can't print labels out? The reason being is because the moment someone sees a label on an envelope, they're not going to open your letters. So you just wasted that postage stamp. So spend a little bit of extra time, write the name and the addresses and make it more personable, because then you're going to separate yourself from all the Joe Schmoes of the agents out there. That is just doing it, just generating. They're just sending things out just to send things out, but we want to do it purposefully. Okay. Any questions? Okay, we'll move on. Client and referral loop. So your database will generate leads in the form of new, repeat, or referral businesses. We always use the term, when you have a listing, your listings have babies. Well, true, but also your client does too, especially ones that you've already whether, especially buyers, if they already, if you have a buyer, you put them into a property, you help them go through all the hurdles, I can guarantee you that service that you have provided to them, they've already told all their friends in that way. They're like, oh my God, Dawn was such an amazing agent. She went above and beyond for me. I mean, we had some very rocky, point in time in the middle of the transaction, but she made me feel comfortable. She made sure that I don't have anxiety, and she did everything that she could to make sure that we pushed it through and closed that escrow. And that communication is going to get you, they're going to come back to you, because when they buy something, that's not going to be their first home. That is their starter home. And then they're going to want to upgrade. And then they're going to want to tell everyone else as well. And then of course, the referring business. Has anyone closed a deal and either now that client is a repeat, or did you get a referral?
I did. I had a referral and I closed with the buyer, and then he actually connected me with 2 other individuals that I'm currently working with.
No, that's amazing, Michael. Yeah, and see, that's what I'm saying. Like, these are real life scenarios. Like these happen. What we're all learning today, it happens every day. So why aren't we capitalizing on it? Why isn't it happening to you? That's why we're all here. We want to make sure that it happens to each and every of our agents, that you're getting that client and essentially getting all the referral loops and the repeat businesses. Okay, let's move on. All right, so now we're going to put it all together. Lead generation, it never ends. It's best when time blocked and determines the size of your business. When we come into this business, we had a huge grand vision on where we want to be. But in order for us to get there, we can't just say, I start here and now I want to be here. We have to go small steps. And in order to do that, we have to make sure that we're disciplined on the front end. And I'm saying this even to myself as well, is that, it's easier said than done. I know this for a fact. It's easy for us to say, yeah, we know we have to lead generate. Yes, I know I have to time block, but life throws so many curveballs at you that you don't know where your gloves need to face, right? Do I need to go left? Do I need to go right? Do I need to jump? Do I not? So I understand all that. But if we can master the time blocking and the consistency, your business will boom. Is anyone time blocking right now? How's your calendar? If I look at your calendar today, does it have time blocking in your calendar? I know, of course, Manny does.
You didn't exclude me. So
I did not exclude you. That is correct.
I want to participate.
Well, if you don't have time blocking, please reach out to your leadership team. I think that you need to have a meeting, or your mentor. Actually, go to your mentor first and sit with them and say, I want to time block, but I want to time block on a high level. And then at least you can have someone holding you accountable. Or at South Bay, you guys are all there right now. Why don't you sit down together and say, hey, why don't we do a session of time blocking, and then we hold each other accountable? That's also another way to look at it. And I think that you can all do it with each other and hold each other accountable.
You know what? It's even worth to teach a separate class just about time blocking. If anybody, I'm not sure, out there who has my cell phone number, but if anybody want to text me time blocking class, I'll teach it. So if someone just can text me.
Yep, and here I am sending you the number right now. So you can have his number, you can record him.
You probably want to mute.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. That's Manny's number. If you want to learn how to time block, please reach out to him, and he's more than happy to sit down with all of you. All right, ahas. So we're doing good timing. So what was some of your ahas that you took out from this last segment? Don't be shy. Remember, like I stated, it's interactive. If you're not involved, then you're not going to get everything out of this.
Pick on someone.
I know. Rachel, I'm gonna pick on Rachel because she's playing with her camera.
Yes.
Oh, she can hear me. Maybe that's fine. Okay, Arthur, are you there?
Doreen is yelling in. I know that when I've wanted to jump in and say something, the delay is so bad when I release the audio that it's like pointless. So they might be having the same trouble.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Well, we can wait for you if you're having issues with your delays. Michael?
One of the things is, like you were saying earlier, is stop thinking about it, stop trying to get it ready, and just do it. And that's,
Yeah,
I'm guilty of that. I procrastinate with just jumping in and doing it, but that's the only way we're gonna see success.
agreed. No, absolutely. And look, we're all guilty of it. Oh, okay, Arthur, thank you. No, and I agree with you. If, you know, we're always wanting to be a perfectionist, especially in this industry. And I see it all the time, myself included when I first started. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to do this because I'm afraid I'm gonna say the wrong thing, or what if they don't like me, whatever the case is, right? So I was always getting ready, but I never put myself out there. And the moment I did, and I said, you know what, enough is enough. You can always get ready, but you're never gonna drum up business, then what's the point? So then I put myself out there, and that's when I started getting businesses. Okay, all right, we're gonna move on to your sphere of influence, SOIs. We love our SOIs. Who is your SOI? I know who my SOIs are. Do you know who yours are? Do you have an SOI?
Friends, neighbors,
Yeah, friends, neighbors, what else?
family,
Yep,
co-workers.
absolutely. Yeah, and Michael, are you capitalizing on your SOI?
I'm getting better with it. I haven't actually capitalized on it, but those are the individuals who have brought me leads. So that's something that I'm gonna be working on, is my sphere, because that's where your beginning money is gonna be.
Right, no, absolutely, good. Well, that's actually what I wanted to hear. Your SOI is always a work in progress, right? There's no such thing that, oh, I have an SOI and they're end all be all, because they're not. And they're also a work in progress. One day, an auntie can be your SOI and the next day she's not, right? It just all depends on how you're cultivating the relationship. So it's a work in progress. Perfect, all right. So categorizing your sphere of influence. If you're not, yes, I always say, you know, when you're working with your database, make sure that, you know, they're kind of grouped so then it works. Immediate family, friends, relatives, neighbors, past coworkers, hobbies, sports group. I know Shereen made a comment earlier, you know, mom's group, sports, your children's sports, teachers, worship club, volunteers, professional services, financial legal services, and personal services. So these are all great SOIs. Okay, so let's go ahead and take, let's see, how many minutes does it allow us? All right, so we're gonna take 2 minutes to quickly jot down your SOI. So go ahead and take the next 2 minutes and write. So here's your category, break them down. Who's your immediate family? Who's your friends? Who's your relatives? Who's your neighbors? So 11 points, and jot down several names. 2 minutes.
And can I say something while you're doing it? If you will, I'm not sure whether there's like a gap between 9 and 10, maybe just.
I think it's just the way the slide is.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if there's like any difference, but in any case, if you're really gonna do it purposefully, let me look for a second. Personal services. You're probably looking anywhere between $15,000 to $80,000 paycheck just from this list if you're a brand new agent. if you've been licensed for like 2-3 months, if you more, so that's for sure. But if you brand licensee, if you're gonna do this exercise properly, you're not gonna finish it right now, but if you'll do it properly, there's guaranteed deals over there that's waiting for you. So by the end of the year, you can net again $15,000 to $80,000 easily from that list. I'm talking from experience. So do it properly, and then go to your mentor, wherever she is, and make it happen. So.
Okay.
Nice Jonathan's helping over there, huh?
And on Zoom too.
They not know that you don't spit over the camera. Like the two first rows are empty over there.
I know.
What's up with that?
I know. I'm not there, so there's no splash zone, you guys.
Yeah, that's my problem, not yours.
All right, so
That was funny. That's cute.
that was Shireen. That was, what was it, on Saturday with Steve Gottlieb too?
I was on the side, but he's got a very good courtroom voice. I tell you, he'd be a heck of an adversary.
It's like just like he speaks from like his chest, you know. Okay, so I want you to count the names that you wrote down. Who would like to share the numbers? How many extra people that you came up with?
I got 11.
Okay, no, that's amazing. 11, good. And Michael, the 11 that you wrote down or that you can think of, are you currently working with all 11? And when I say working, meaning you're cultivating the relationship.
No, only about 4 of them.
Okay, see, things are coming out. That's why these exercises are so important, because we sometimes forget. We're like, okay, yes, of course, I talk to my mom on a regular basis. I talk to my brothers on a regular basis. But then I wrote down my uncle, my auntie, you know, my daughter's school teacher. I'm like, oh, I don't talk to these people at all. So maybe I need to start touching them. Not physically, but, you know, reach out to them. So definitely make sure that you're doing that, okay? So,
I have a question, Mary. Sorry.
yeah. Hi,
So,
Meg.
hi. So for me, that I'm a bit of an introvert. For people that I haven't spoken to in a year or two, but kind of have seen on social media, like, what's the best way without making it seem like I'm calling you now because I'm in real estate? What's the best way to approach those people?
Oh, I love that. Okay, so social media. I love social media conversations, one of my favorite. So when you posted that you became a real estate agent, how many likes did you get?
A good amount. I didn't post it on my page. Like, I just posted it on my Instagram story, and a good amount. I opened up my Facebook, but I haven't done anything on there yet.
Okay, well, no, that's good. So let's take a pause and discuss this real quick. So homework for you, post on Facebook, right? That, I'm so excited on my newest journey. I am officially a real estate license or a real estate agent with my KW family, something along those lines, which are a beautiful headshot. And then wait and see how many likes to start getting and how many comments. And that's going to be your warm touch. If I'm one of your SOI and I liked your post, you know what you're going to do? You're going to pull that, you're going to DM me and go, Mary, thank you so much for liking my post. Oh my God, how have you been? What have you been doing? Boom, right there. Insert.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Same thing with IG. I love stories, but when it's something this, a magnitude on a career change or a life change, I think it deserves an actual post. And that goes for all of you. If you're not posting that you became a real estate agent and you just did it through a story, I feel like it's not as powerful as if it's a post, because then someone can love it, like it, comment it. Because on a story, they can comment, but I feel like you'll lose them. You can't go back, right? To have a conversation with them. And stories, you can't like stories, not that I'm aware of.
Let me go away also after a period of time.
For 24 hours, right, within 24 hours, your post is gone or your story is gone. But you want that to be on your page, because the reason being is, and I'm guilty, and I know all of you are too, when you accept a friend request, or you ask to be a friend with someone, you know, you go into the whole deep dark rabbit hole. I'm like scrolling through, where have you been? Who have you been with? Like, how many kids do you have? So I'm looking at all your posts, but I will never be able to see your stories because it disappears. So I personally think that if you haven't done so already, and yeah, if you're active on your IG story, not a problem, but please make an actual post. And the one good thing too about Instagram and Facebook, you can link it. So if you post on one, it'll populate on the other. You don't need to worry about doing it on both sides. And that's how I've been. If you've been following me, my Instagram, you'll notice simultaneously is also uploaded to my Facebook. So I don't even have to do two platforms or post on two platforms. I do it on one platform and I just automatically post it. And then I get engagement on both platforms. Hopefully that was helpful. Anyone else that's having challenges? I love when I hear challenges, because then we can mastermind around that. Okay, we're good. Okay, we categorize our sphere of influence. We're building your SOI day by day. I would like you to write down from Monday through Friday, and I'm only using weekdays because I feel like weekends should be your open house day, your family time, church, whatever you need to do on the weekend. I truly believe that you need to have a balance of your life. But Monday through Friday is your quote unquote work day. I want you to look at your SOI list and then look at your calendar and say, you know what, today, Monday, I'm gonna contact my SOI that has a first name starting with A through K, and then Tuesday, and then go through the entire alphabet, break it all down. Because when you do it that way, I promise you'll actually do the work. But if you're like, you know what, I'm gonna go A through Z, I'm super motivated right now because, you know, Mary has so much energy and I'm feeling it and I wanna go do it. And I can promise you, you're not. Actually, you may hit the first 5, but then you're just like, okay, now I'm exhausted. Because it is exhausting when you have to talk to people and you have to have that upbeat energy and you have to put it all out there. So break it down, A to Z, 1, 2, 3. It doesn't matter how you do it as long as it works for you, but break it up. So then it's more manageable for you. Remember, not only your SOI, you still have your lead generation that you still have to do as well. So you have to take that into consideration. Don't overwhelm yourself. Bite size, small stepping stones, okay? And you'll notice a huge difference. And do what Michael does. Make sure you hold yourself accountable and measure yourself. You're gonna realize that instead of doing big chunks, you're able to doing the smaller chunks is so much more, what's the word that I'm trying to?
I'm trying to think what you're thinking of.
More, oh God, you guys help me here. You know what? When I have it, I'm gonna yell it out like a Tourette syndrome. All right, so what else? Let's go. Okay, Bold's law. Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. That's supposed to be you, not 2, by the way.
That's true.
Who attended Bold? Where are my Bold people? Okay, that's okay. Hopefully you'll be there in the next one. I promise you, life-changing. Okay, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. This one is so true. I tell my market side when I have my team meetings every week, I always say, I want to be a better person than I was yesterday. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm in my ivory white tower and, you know, I'm a perfect person, because I'm not. Every single day is an improvement for me. But the one thing that I noticed that I've done a lot better on is the way I look at things. And when I wake up in the morning, I say my affirmation, I recite my gratitude, I say my prayers, and then I tell myself today is going to be a great day, no matter what. And there's a reason why my energy is always this way, because this is literally my ritual every single day. If you have met me and know me, you know that I am a whole ball of energy. Sometimes it's overwhelming, I know, but it's just who I am. But also because I look at the world very differently. It's because I look at the world that it's a very, very precious thing. And us being able to even wake up every single day is very, very precious as well, right? We have a job, we have somewhere to go, we have healthy family members, we're healthy, and and these are things that we're grateful for. But don't forget, sometimes you have to take a step back and go, wow, like what I have is enough, and now it's my way of paying it forward. Okay, when you have that mentality, it does change a whole lot of your perspective. Ish, what about you?
Sure does.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have to, when you're in it to win it,
Yep.
you're winning.
Exactly. Yeah. No, the winning attitude. And look, producer's mindset call. Those of you that's on the producer's mindset call every single day, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 8:30. I applaud to you. I commend you so much, because that literally kept me going when I was in probably one of some of my, I call it my darkest period, which is not that dark, but still, I am human. I did have my own down days and I have my good days. And producer's mindset kept me on track to be where I am today. And I remember as an agent, before I became in leadership, it was the producer's mindset that kept me motivated every single morning. Like, wow, like you all have your challenges. So you know what? I can relate to that. So I'm going to go ahead and do it too. If everyone else can do it, then why can't I? And why am I sitting here feeling sorry for myself? Because that's not even acceptable. So, okay. All right. Ahas. Any ahas? Come on, you guys. So many beautiful faces in South Bay. That room's been very quiet.
I'll
No?
speak on, hi, it's Dawn again. Okay, so I'll speak on the energy effect thing. I love that. What I do have to say, I have to agree with you, Mary, because your energy is so magnetic. That was one of the reasons why I selected to go with KW LA Harbor, because I like your energy. Office culture is big for me. And that was one of the big things that I like about you. So it's not too much and it's not overwhelming, because when you hang around positive people, it helps you to stay positive, because this business can be, it does have its dark moments. I can, it's like you said, not that dark, but you do have those days, when you do need to be around just positive people. And just having that type of energy definitely helps. So that's one of my major ahas with you and the office.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, and you know what? And same goes to you and a lot of the agents that's also on here. I mean, I've been very blessed and fortunate to have met you in person. And man, I'm telling you, we are one rowdy crowd. I mean, and I say that with such great pride. I mean, when we come in, they know we're coming in, and we come in fierce, strong, and loud. So very proud of this group. We're very, very we're a very fun batch.
We're a fun batch.
Yeah, we are. Okay, thank you. All right, we're gonna expand on our SOI. Okay, add more personal information to your SOI contacts. Have you added your SOI's birthdays, work anniversary, wedding anniversary, their firstborn child or secondborn child, anything that you would celebrate personally? Do you help celebrate your clients as well? And if the answer is no, that's okay. That's why we're talking about this. So again, when you guys now have quite a bit of homework, and these are all things that's going to lay the foundation for you. I know this sounds silly. You're like, well, I don't need to know their kid's first birthday. I promise you, you don't need to, but it goes a long way. If you send me a text message or you send me an email, giving my daughter a happy birthday e-card, I would be like, oh my God, like, wow, you just went above and beyond. You didn't have to remember my children's name or birthdays, and you literally took your time out to wish her a happy birthday, and not just on a Facebook, you know, Facebook and things like that is fine, but making it more personal where you actually send her something or send us something. I think that speaks volume. Again, we want to separate ourselves from all the other agents that's out there. We want to make sure that when we send something out, they're going to remember us. I have a client that she doesn't have, they couldn't have children, and they were okay with that, but they're really, really big doggy parents. So I always make sure, and they've moved, and they actually live in Kentucky now, but I still send Bo a birthday treat every single year. And every time I send it to them, they get so excited. And I'm like, it's just a couple items I got on Amazon, just send it directly over to them. And I didn't spend a lot of money either. So it just goes to show you that, you know, we genuinely do care. We care about you and your family. We care about who's in your family, right? If I can get my SOI's parents' information, I would as well. I'm like, hey, I just, you know, I noticed your parents' anniversary is coming up. You know, are you guys doing anything big? And quite frankly, there's a possibility you may get an invitation. And then you just open yourself up to all that exposure as well. I was actually I guess in Spanish is like the madrina and padrina, so the godparents, and I was just, we were godparents at well, what's supposed to be a quince, but she turned 16, and I actually picked up 4 new leads just at this party alone, because all I did was just talk about what I was doing, how I was doing, and someone overheard that I was a real estate agent, and they asked for my business card. And best believe it, I had my business card at this party.
And you know what's crazy is most people give you the information for free. Because, oh look, my oldest just graduated high school.
Exactly.
My oldest just passed her driver's license test.
Yep.
They give that to you for free. You don't
Yep.
even have to research it.
Yeah, they love to talk. They love to talk. Like the more you ask about their family, the more they're gonna give to you. And especially in an environment like that, alcohol is kind of flying. So, you know, we make sure that we stay coherent, but we let them just throw up on us. Yeah, just tell us more information. Oh, okay, sure. What, your mom wants to sell her house? Absolutely, call me. Right?
Exactly.
So just FYI, everything that we do, every step that we take, every person that we meet is a potential client, but I always say it's a potential family member in my business, okay? If you change that mentality from a client to a potential family member in my business, I think that will also help you build that confidence and exude that energy to them directly. And they'll feel like, wow, you make me feel like I'm home. So of course, I'm gonna trust you with one of the biggest decisions I'm gonna make in my life, right? Purchasing a home and getting married is the 2 biggest decisions in everybody's lives. Right? 2? Yeah.
Can't think of a third.
Maybe having
Maybe.
expanding a family.
Yeah, kind of, but like you said.
But we can't control that.
We
though.
can control that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Okay. Expand your SOI. Just ask. I mean, is any one of you out there afraid of asking for business?
I know I am.
Are you really?
Well, so now I'm not. But when I
Okay.
first got in the industry, it's like, well, do they really want me to get into their I'm the lender in the LA Harbor office, everybody, just FYI. So it's like, do they really want me to know their finances? Do they really want to tell me what their goals are? It was intimidating, but as you start getting out of your shell, it becomes second nature.
You know, I'm glad that you brought that up. Does anyone have a family member or an SOI that they said, you know what, I do want to go into real estate and I do want to purchase a property, but I don't want you to know my personal business? Show of hands, has anyone crossed that scenario yet? Because I know I have.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And how did you navigate around that conversation?
I haven't crossed that path yet, but that's kind of the reason why I haven't reached out to them.
Okay, honey, here's one. So this was literally my own brother and his girlfriend, and Ish was actually our lender for this. And they weren't comfortable enough for me to see their personal finances, which is fine. I don't want to get involved anyways, because the more I know, the more maybe I'll get too involved and I'll be like, and maybe I would judge them because they are my family member. But when you do run through that scenario, you have two options. One option is, don't worry, I know we're family, but this is a business transaction and you hired me and as a professional, I will handle this with discretion. A. B, or you're like, you know what, if you want me to look at your finances, no problem. I'm gonna go ahead and refer you out to another agent within my office. And don't worry, I won't see anything at all. Or you can just talk to the lender and go, hey, I know they don't want us to see their finances, but no matter what, if you do represent them, they're gonna have to see something because you're writing up the offer. And you have to send the supporting documents, unless if the lender's okay and go, okay, you send out the offer, just the contract, and I, as a lender, will send the supporting documents and not copy you in. But then that just gets a little messy.
Yeah.
So 2 options is, you hired me as a professional, I'm gonna handle it with discretion, or number 2 is, I'm gonna refer you out. And quite frankly, I've referred family out, and my relationship with that family is still a lot better than if I were to do business with them. Sometimes it's just not worth it.
Uncomfortable Thanksgiving dinner.
Right, exactly. But also, no, but not just that, not forget the awkwardness. It's more of, I just ruined a relationship over what, several $1,000s. And yes, it's a lot of money. I'm not knocking on it, but I feel like my relationships with my family is priceless.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So that would be my recommendation. Again, or just, maybe have a sit down conversation and go, as a buyer and as me, as a professional, when I'm representing you, everything is very confidential. I just represented a niece and I had point blank asked her, do you want any of the family members to know? And you know what she said? She's like, no, not yet. So even her mom, I didn't tell anyone anything until she was ready to tell her family that she was in the process of buying. So again, like, as long as you have that communication with them, I think that you'll be okay. But if they're not comfortable, tell them, yalla, no problem. Let me refer you to one of my agents. Okay. Anyone else that's aside from this, aside from us? Okay. But other than that, ask. Please don't be shy. Pick up those phone and just ask. And when we say ask, not like pick up the phone and go, hey, auntie, do you want to buy or sell? Like, of course you're not going to go, you do a wellness call, you navigate the conversation, go, I noticed we haven't talked in a while, I noticed the COVID numbers is fine. Use whatever that's happening in the world right now to an advantage. It's a horrible thing, but we use that to our advantage, and also checking in on our loved ones. And I can promise you it goes a longer way than as if you were just picking up the phone and saying, I'm a real estate agent now, do you want to sell or buy? Or know anyone, right? So let's keep on going. Okay, strengthen casual connections. I love, love and hate, I guess, as a parent, when you're connected to your children's school, clubs. I mean, I was part of the cheer mom. I was, a Girl Scout leader for my daughter's Girl Scout group. I was very involved in the PTA, her school. I mean, I was involved with everything, but it was exhausting. But the business was there. Now, what about those that don't have children, right? So I think sometimes we forget that not everybody has children. I mean, now I am an empty nester. I technically don't have any more kids because my kid is gone. She's in college, she's gone. So right now, I don't have any connections where, oh, let's go to a Girl Scout meetup, right? Well, what do you do then? So what you do is you look outside of that and we get creative. We still go to doctors. We still go to my ladies out there. I see you guys are always nice and prim. So our hairstylists, nails, massage therapy, my handsome men out there, you go to the barber shop. We know y'all talk. So, like those are all connections, and those are casual connections that you need to make. And don't be shy. Again, just talk. I love talking to people, especially when you're sitting there and you have a lot of people next to you and you're just looking, they want to talk to you, so you might as well talk to them, but they're never going to strike the conversation unless you do first, because we are the one that's more extrovert.
The biggest defense right now is when you see this, you see the back of their phone, because they're playing on their phone, playing their games, looking at their sports numbers or their weather forecasts, or planning or balancing their checkbook. make them put that phone down and engage in it.
Well, also when you're sitting close enough, if you can see them that they're looking at a sports, if you're anything like, I guess us,
Yeah.
we're sports fanatic. If I see you scrolling through some numbers and, catching up on scores or like the latest, I mean, US,
Trade, whatever.
yeah, exactly. Like USC is gonna be kicking some butt. Dodgers won last night. I'm gonna best believe I'm jumping in on that conversation. I'm like, oh, what's the score? Like which team? And all of a sudden you start a whole conversation. The next thing you know, you're like, give me your number, let's connect, and the whole 9 yards. And trust me, if you find that common ground with them, it's an automatic contact, not a lead, but a contact, because they're gonna remember you. And it's gonna be a two-way conversation. Okay. Anyone else out there that has an input on casual connections? Church. Anyone go to church? Okay, church is a good one. You know that, look, everyone that goes to church are very, very closely connected. Like you take care of each other. And when I say that, I mean from personal to business, that church goers are the most loyal people, I would say, like when it comes to connections. Utilize that to your advantage. Again, don't come off aggressive, but let them know that you're an agent. When you go to church, do you wear your name tags or wear something that is subtle and not way out there to let them know that you are an agent? I would highly recommend that too. All right, join groups that will connect you with people with similar interests and values. I know that I'm a part of a lot of groups and I love it. And it connects with my core values. I believe in giving back. So I am part of a lot of charity that is within my local community. But in addition to that, I'm also very connected to a lot of missions for third world countries. So heavily involved, my parents' country, they're both third world countries, and I'm very involved in that. What else? Ish, what are you part of that is part of your interest?
Church is a big one.
Yep, church.
But I do adult softball leagues.
Co-ed
softball leagues. I golf with agents here in the office.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's part of my B&I connection,
Gotcha.
but I'm out there,
Okay. What about South Bay connections? What are some of the groups that you guys like? Maybe it's something that I didn't know that you do and I want to join too. Any groups that you're a part of right now? Poker group, card group, anything. Man, y'all, I'm gonna have to go to South Bay next time.
I volunteer at a produce on Thursdays where the community comes in and receive free produce. So whenever I have an opportunity to go there, I do volunteer and I kind of segue into my way of letting them know that I am a real estate agent now with Keller Williams.
Jackie, that's amazing.
That's cool.
That is so, I just got goosebumps. That is amazing.
That's amazing.
Oh my God. But see, those are things that these are things that it's who you are. And I hope, and with their permission, you're able to put that on social media so you can drum up more, hey, like if you talk to the organization, is there anything that you need? Do you need more produce? Is there something that you lack of? Can we help with that? Maybe you can use that to even not only you're double dipping where you're helping your community further, but also letting your community know that you're an advocate for it too.
Yeah.
So here locally in San Pedro, we're part of Toberman House, we're part of Harbor Interfaith, we got Beacon House, we have Pedro Pet House. Yeah, we do humans and animals. So, but these are things that it's who we are as an individual. People work with people that they can relate with, right? I won't work with you if I can't relate with you. And that's okay because I'm not everybody's cup of tea neither, but that's fine. There's someone out there for everyone, okay? But thank you for sharing, that's amazing. All right, referrals. Same thing, just ask. Also, if you're in a transaction, make sure that you're asking referrals in your transaction. So let's say right now we're all in escrow. Each and every one of us is in an escrow right now, and we are now in, let's say day 10. You know, the first part is done, inspection's done, contingency is ready to go. We're good. You know, we're just kind of coasting along. Client's feeling great. You're feeling great. Now what? Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, you know, I'm so happy that, you know, things are going very well. And, you know, you know, from what you've told me that you're very happy with my service, is there anyone else that I can provide the same service to? Trust me, they'll give you someone. Jim, did you want to say something? Nope. Okay, I'm going to just mute you. Yeah, so again, the reason why I say about day 10, the reason is because 1 through 10, it's going to be hectic, depending on your contract. So usually day 1, you open escrow, you're connecting everyone together. Day 2, it's like, okay, I need this, I need this, I need this. You know, EMD needs to get into escrow, so a lot of stuff needs to happen. Day 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you're coordinating inspections, you're coordinating appraisal, you're making sure the buyers have all their funds. I mean, that's a lot for a buyer, but also as an agent, all the communication flying back and forth. But by day 10, everything's calming down, right? Even on a 30-day escrow, things are going to start to calm down within 2 weeks when you open escrow. That's when they're like, whoa, I can breathe. Oh my God, it wasn't that bad, right? And that's when you want to ask for referrals. And like I said, what you do is, you know, you kind of get a feel of the buyer. You're like, okay, you know, how are you feeling? They're like, oh my God, I feel great. And this was, you know, this was awesome. It was a little intense in the front, but you know, I'm feeling good now. I'm feeling confident that we're going to close this transaction. Or they're like, oh my God, there's still so much to do. Of course, you're not going to go, well, okay, but do you have someone for me? Now you're obviously going to kind of read your audience, all right? But usually, like I said, within 2 weeks, you kind of get a feel of the client and what's happening in their transaction. And it's a good time to ask for referrals. And if they don't, that's okay. You just kind of keep on moving as you close transaction. You know, maybe once you close and go, you know what, that was great. I know that you didn't have anyone a couple weeks ago. Do you have anyone in mind that I may provide the same service to? Okay. Any questions so far? All right. So gather leads from your sphere of influence. So I like this script. Oh, sorry. There we go. First one, I am building, let me go ahead and minimize that. Okay, I am building my business on people I know and the people they know. Do you know of anyone from family or friends, work, your neighborhood, or a group you belong to who's thinking of buying, selling a home, or investing in real estate? I'd be pleased to be a resource for them. Great, that's a good one. If you hear of someone with a real estate need, will you keep me in mind and let me know right away? I actually use the second one a little bit more often than I usually do this one. And the reason is because, you know, my family, my SOI essentially already knows I'm a real estate agent, but this is more of a reminder. Hey, if you hear of someone that, you know, requires real estate support, let me know. And it usually works. So. Okay, ahas. What ahas did you guys get on that last segment?
You know, on that first one, Mary, the first script.
Yep.
That's a great one if you're starting to put your database or data bank together, because you are letting people know, hey, I want to build my business, and you can even have like people who I trust, people who I care for. It really adds a touch to really growing your database or data bank.
Agreed. Yeah, no, agreed. Great way, great resources for sure. All right, we'll keep on moving on if you guys don't have any questions. Okay, lead generation, lead gen best practices. Track your lead sources. We talked about that. Audit your lead sources. Diversify your database and be consistent. Okay, huge key points here. We have to track our lead sources. Obviously, we want to audit our lead sources, because how do we know where they're at in their life if we don't audit them? If we don't constantly check in, if we're not, you know, doing our own due diligence. Diversify your database. Make sure that it's just not one set of group. Make sure that, it's, you got millennials, Gen Zs, baby boomers. Don't close your pool of contacts and people that you want to work with. And be consistent, of course. But that also goes with, don't be just a buyer's agent. Don't just be a listing agent. Don't close off on leasings. Don't close off on mobile homes, right? Or manufactured homes. So those are all money generating businesses. You just pick a couple that you focus on, but don't close the door on all the others. Okay. Time block your lead generation time. Prepare your mindset, the practice, and your call list. It is so important when you're ready to make those phone calls, you want to make sure everything else is out the door. Like when I prepare to do my own lead generation call, I literally give myself a quick pep talk. I raise my table up and I close my door. I have my snacks in hand. I have my water ready to go. I am prepared. Like literally I'm preparing to go to war. And because I don't want to get disturbed, and not just that, when you're doing that type of conversations, and when you're making those phone calls, I can promise you it gets really exhausting because we're constantly, our mind is stimulating on the conversations because we're constantly trying to stay ahead of what they're going to ask us first. Okay? Take action of the conversation, maintain the database, and follow up. I know these are things that is very redundant, but there's a reason why there's a redundancy. You're going to probably notice on almost every of your sessions, this is somewhat in there somewhere, just in a different turn. Okay. All right. Battle distractions. Protect your time block. Build a bunker. Like I said, we're preparing for war. When you're lead generating, store provisions, sweep for minds, and enlist support. I had to start locking my door when I was lead generating because I love my people to death, but sometimes they'll see me even on the call, they still come into the office. So I had to start locking my doors. And Ish knows because he sits right next to me.
Yeah.
And that's okay. My door is always open, but I do have to protect my time because I still have a business to run as well. Okay. Those of you that is not in LA Harbor office, and if you are ever in our area, I do have a lead generation booth. You are all more than welcome to utilize it. You can block it for 2 hours at a time, max. And if you are ever in the San Pedro RPV area and you're like, you know what, I met a client out here, but I don't want to go all the way back to Torrance. I know it's not far, but if you're like, I just want to make some calls, just shoot me a text or send me an email. Go, Mary, can I swing by and utilize your call booth? And you're more than welcome. It is all set up and ready to go. And my agents that is here in LA Harbor, that booth is already up and running. Okay. Ahas. Okay. Well, we're making good timing, so that's good. Okay. So now let's kind of deep dive. How has your thinking changed and what ideas or mindsets were new? So these are now interactive. I hope you learned at least one thing from me today. If not, Simon's going to hunt me down. Okay.
For me, I think the thing that stood out like the most that I feel like I've neglected or I should have been doing before I even got my real estate license was the categorizing our contacts.
Mm-hmm.
I completely don't even have that categorized. So now I'm just like, oh my God, I gotta go back and, do all of this. So that way when I'm, looking specifically at, who I'm cultivating specifically at a time, I don't have to go through my whole list of contacts.
Right. No, agreed. Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes, one takeaway that I got from this is, like I said, I do touch base with my database, but not as frequently as I should. So I'm sure there's quite a bit of people in there that I haven't touched. I will take the alphabetical route, just doing it bite size and tackle it that way.
Absolutely. Yes. Dawn, I you've been in the industry a lot longer than I have. I've been in the industry for 7 years, but the one thing I've learned, and your personality is very similar to mine, I realized that when I want to do something, I want to do it now and I want to do it big. But I realized with that mentality, I ended up not doing anything at all. And the reason being is because I got overwhelmed. The moment I start writing down my list, and then my list was this long, I'm like, oh my God, where do I start? Like I literally was so lost and then that loss turned into frustration, frustration turns into anger, and anger turns to nothing. Then I just gave up. So bite-sized words, alphabetical order words, or numerical order, however you feel that's comfortable to you, but do something and do it, like just do it small sizes. Like I said, if you're very, very, very progressive and you're like, you know what, I got this, I'm gonna go ahead and do it, more power to you. Please do it if you think that you can. But don't, if you know in your heart that you're like, you know what, I'm just kidding myself. There's no way I'm gonna be able to call 100 today, and I don't even know where to start. Then back it up, scale it out, and then bite size. Break it down to however you want to break it down. If it's 100 contacts a week, that's 20 contacts a day. That's a little bit more manageable, right? So.
Yes.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so these are some questions that, ponder on. I know that a lot of us are a little shy on the call, so that's okay. But ponder on these questions and just kind of answer it to yourself. What do you feel differently about? What was meaningful to you today? Okay. How will your behaviors be different going forward? What actions will you take? And then what tools, models, or systems will you use? How will they make you accountable? So these are questions that I want you to ask yourself and then answer them to yourself. And like at the end of the day, this business is your own business. I think sometimes we forget because we're such a close-knit group. We forget that this is our own business, independently owned, right? We're all independent contractors, so to speak. I don't consider us contractors, we're literally businesses. Yeah. We're all just small businesses, and we have to hold ourselves accountable. And these questions is going to help you with that. Like, why am I doing this? What am I doing this for? And what does it mean to me? And then it goes to, what am I going to do? And then what are the tools and resources I'm going to utilize? Okay. All right, success systems, daily success system. So I actually like this, how many number of conversations, contacts added. So this actually breaks it down. So this is even smaller for you. So instead of 20 a day, it's 10. Have 10 conversations a day, 10 contacts added to your database, 10 handwritten notes. Again, break it down, alphabetical order, 10-5-1 social media engagement. What this means is that you're gonna like 10 posts, you're gonna comment 5, or you're gonna make 5 comments, and you're gonna add 1 friend. That's right, 10-5-1? Yep. Yep. And then enrichments, okay?
Did you say put your contact in alphabetical order?
Yeah, so that's how I did it, but you can do it any differently that you want. But I do my contacts in alphabetical order. If you have an iPhone, it's already in alphabetical order. So what I do is, so for example, if I pull up my phone right now and it says 10 conversation, I'm gonna go to my phone straight to first. So I'm gonna go A, and I'm just gonna count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I'm gonna stop on my 10th person, and then I'm just gonna contact those individuals.
Okay. They just put those 10 people into command and start calling them like that?
Yeah, well, yes. So the 10 conversations is live conversation. So let's just say we talked about.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then the 10 contacts that you added, those are cold callers or social media. So for example, you're like, you were on social media, but these people aren't in your database, right? In your actual CRM. Ask them for the info. Hey, thank you so much for commenting on my, my post, like I see that you're pretty active and, a lot of back and forth on social media, but I don't think I have you in my phone book, and I would love to connect with you also, outside of the social media world. Can I have your phone number and email address? The other thing, especially for all of you right now, and this is something that I'm doing for myself and for my business, and I want to give you this sweet, sweet pointer. Christmas is around the corner, okay? The honest reality is we're already in August, and I mean, the year's going by really quickly. If you do Christmas cards, or if you don't, maybe you should consider doing it. But right now is a good time to start contacting all of your people and start asking for their updated addresses. And you know, here's what I do. Hey, I'm updating my address. You know, I'm preparing for the holiday cards to go out, and I want to make sure I'm sending it to the right place. Is your address still blah blah blah? Or you can say, hey, I just need to update you to my phone book so I can send the Christmas cards to the right place. 9 out of 10, I get an address back. And that one person is probably like, I don't need another card. You know what I mean? But for the most part, they want something from you.
You know, it's funny, Mary, you say that, because in my phone, I probably have, let's say 100 contacts.
Right.
But yet I have 300 friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
I have 400 people who follow me on Instagram.
Yep.
So there's a ton of opportunities to expand your database that you might be overlooking.
No, exactly. But that's why I keep on saying social media is one of my favorite subjects, because there's so much business on social media that we're not capitalizing on. We talk about, oh, I only have 100 contacts in my phone, but yet we have hundreds on our social media, and these hundreds of people actually engage in our posts. That's the other crazy part. So once they like our posts, once they, make a comment, I hope and I pray that you're reaching out, shoot them a quick DM. I know it's a lot of work, and but you can break it up as well and go, okay, you know what? I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna contact, whatever, A to Z or 1 to 10, whatever it is. But you can break it up, because you can always go back to your post, because those likes and comments don't disappear. So you can say, okay, today, I'm gonna block off an hour to do all my comment or DMs to my social media back. Okay, so that's another one too. Yep, absolutely. And sometimes I feel like some of my social media people are actually ones that I communicate more than I do with my SOI.
Exactly.
And that's the crazy part. Yep. Awesome, great questions, you guys. Thank you. All right, so of course, we all know the do not call list. Make sure that you are up to date on that, not calling people that you're not supposed to, because it is a serious fine. Okay, and then I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in relationship with me. And again, everything that we do on a daily basis is meaningful, or it has to be meaningful, or else it's not going to come off genuine. And people can read people. I know when I'm not wanted. I know when my conversation is not as thought out as I want it to be, or you just know, right? We're all very intelligent people. Just make sure that what you're putting out there is meaningful to the client or to our extended family. Okay. Role model role play. Didn't realize it was a role play.
Yeah, when I did the Ignite last year, the time is.
Yeah, so it's up to you. Do you guys want to role play? If you don't, I'm okay too, but it is up to your discretion because it is your time. Okay, I guess we can skip it. I mean, it is Monday because we did have a role play this morning too. So, all right, prepare your conversation list. So this is homework. Again, prepare your conversation list, your SOI, your social media people. Honestly, I would say write down what you're going to do today. Pick out one thing that you learned today that you're going to action today. And once you do that, pick the second item tomorrow and action that tomorrow. And keep on going consistently. Okay. All right, lead generation conversation, 45 minutes, holy guacamole. They want us to be here all day. Lead generation conversations. I do want to touch base, we don't have to role play, but do you all, or are you all comfortable in having conversations? Like you don't feel that you're struggling in having a conversation? Okay, good.
I don't have a problem communicating But I do have a fear when it comes to the real estate, because I just don't want to say the wrong thing.
Haha, yep, that's the number one, that's me, that's all me, first year, all me, don't wanna say the wrong thing, oh my God. And not just that, especially when you just come off the exam and study, you can't say this because you'll get sued or you can go to jail. That was literally my fear. So I totally understand, but here's the kicker. If you don't go out there and have the conversation, how do you know that you're not saying the wrong thing or the right thing, right?
Sure.
But, so here's my recommendation, go out there, have the conversation. If it's a question that you feel that you're stumped and you don't know the exact answer to that, you know what you say, you know what? The laws, the rules, the regulations, the laws change so rapidly and very quickly. I want to make sure that I'm giving you the most up-to-date information. So let me go ahead and get back to you on that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, and look, we don't have to know everything. We just have to know where our resources are. And I don't know everything, but best believe I know where all my resources are. And that's another thing that I learned very early on with my mentor. She's like, hey, you don't need to know everything, but just make sure that you let them know that you're gonna get back to them. And also, if you want, you can even give them a time in the day and go, you know what, Jackie, I'll get back to you by 3 o'clock this afternoon. And that's the first thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make sure by 3 o'clock, you're either gonna get a text message, a phone call, or an email from me. If I do a phone call though, I do follow up with an email as a CYA. So if I'm giving them legal information, then I'm like, I'll pick up the phone, I'll call, I'll tell you, and then on an email go, hey Jackie, just, you know, per our conversation, just want to make sure that, you know, I iterated the information clearly, here's our recap. And that goes a long way. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, update, contacts, and follow up. Okay, if you're contacting your database and you're not following up, then I don't know what y'all doing, because the money is where the follow-up is where the money is. We always talk about this. We can all lead generate all day long, but the moment you don't follow up, that's when the business walks away. And you're just throwing away money and time, because you had a lot of time block all that time to lead generate and you forgot to time block the follow-up. So same thing, my recommendation, lead generate in the morning, follow-ups in the afternoon. Okay?
Follow up is a secret sauce of being successful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, follow-up is the secret sauce. Absolutely. Okay, and what did I say? Celebrate all the successes and share it with all of us. We want to celebrate all of you. Don't be shy. Text me, call me, email me, and go, Mary, oh my God. You know, like after that Ignite session, I did that one thing that you told me to do, and or you wanted us to do, and I did it. Celebrate it. Let's celebrate it together. Okay. Oh, going back to same thing. All right, and that's pretty much it for me, you guys. How did that all feel?
Awesome.
Great, thank you. No, you guys were amazing. Thank you so much for being engaged. Thank you for all the questions. I do appreciate you. And you know, like I always say, go out there and kick some butts today.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Mary.
Bye, you guys. Take care.
Bye.
Thanks, Mary. Bye.
Thank you.